So, yeah, I've got a leaking water heater. We can come down to the basement and check it out. All right, first things first, I mean, what do I do? How do I shut this thing off? Keep it from leaking?
So to shut it off, you're gonna wanna go to your main water valve at the water heater. So you can shut this valve off here. That's your water pipe coming into the water heater. You shut that off, it's gonna close off all water to your water heater. So you're still gonna get some leaking coming out of there, but it'll relieve the pressure and that should slowly die down. The other way would be go to your main water valve if you know where that is, if you don't have an isolation valve on your water heater. But yeah, that's the valve there.
Yeah, what about like the power? Do we have to shut the power off?
Yeah, so you have electric water heater. So it's heated with an element in here. And if you lose water in there, that element is gonna burn out. Now we don't care so much if your element burns out because your water heater is leaking and probably needs to be replaced. But it'd be safe practice to shut off the power. So you're gonna go to your breaker panel, find the breaker labeled water heater and shut it off.
Gotcha. Now there's not a valve on this one. Does that matter?
No, that's your hot coming out. So as long as your cold coming in is shut off, that's all that matters.
Gotcha. All right, what does this pipe here do?
So this pipe is your relief valve. So this is a safety device. If your pressure gets too high, the temperature gets too high, it'll bleed off the excess pressure right down here, bring it right down to the floor. Some of them will go to a drain, but most of them are just right above the floor. Just a safety device.
So it's leaking out of the tank. It looks like. I mean, what do I have to do to fix that?
If it's leaking out of the tank, that's not really repairable. So you're just looking at a new water heater.
Okay. Gotcha. So would you recommend putting the same water heater back in, or are there different options?
There's a lot of different options. As you can see here, we have a gas water heater, we have an electric water heater, and then we have a tankless on-demand water heater. So starting from the right here, the gas water heater, this is a natural draft. There's a couple different variations. You're gonna have a natural draft water heater and then a power vent water heater. A power vent's gonna run out in PVC out the sidewall of your house or up through the roof, but most of the time out through a sidewall. That one's gonna basically take combustion air from the basement, cool that exhaust right at the top of the water heater and go out the sidewall if you don't have a chimney, something like that. Natural draft is gonna go up a chimney, to go up through a stack up to the roof. So it has a gas valve, it's got a burner underneath. When it calls for heat, the burner turns on, heats up this tank. Then we go over to electric water heater. These are heated using its resistance heating. So it's got two elements generally, depending on the size of the water heater. So it's got an element here, and an element down here, and then two thermostats. So basically how that works is that when it calls for heat, it powers that element, and it just heats the water with that element. Then we go to the tankless water heater. This is going to be the most efficient. This is also a gas water heater. This one's rated for 199,000 BTUs, so it's a pretty intense water heater. But this one's going to give you unlimited hot water. It's going to basically instantaneously heat the water as it's going through the heat exchanger. So you get unlimited hot water, and then you're only paying for the water, heating the water when you use it, versus the other ones where you're keeping a tank of water hot at all times, where it's not really a lost, it's not so much lost as long as that water heater is in the envelope of the building, so you're still heating the room. But in summer, you don't really want any excess heat in your house. So
can multiple people use like showers at the same time? I mean, is it?
Yeah. So our standard 199,000 BTU Navion water heater will, you're going to be able to do 2 to 3 bathrooms pretty easily. Depending on the water temperature coming in, of course. But yeah, this is good for your typical residential house. And then if you have a commercial building, you have more than bathrooms, you can tie multiple tankless water heaters in together and get the output you want.
Which one would you recommend? I mean, do you recommend for say a family of 4? I have an electric water heater right now. Would you recommend going with a different style, or?
It all depends on your water usage. I mean, if you have a family of 4, you have 2 daughters, teenage daughters that take a lot of showers, this is going to be your unit. You're never going to run out of hot water. If it's just you don't use a lot of water, this one's going to be the most inexpensive to install, but this the least efficient. So this could be the least efficient, second most efficient, and then this is going to be the most efficient. So this is going to give you unlimited hot water. This one's going to be least amount of hot water, least efficient, but the most inexpensive install. And then this is kind of the middle between the two. So typically we see most water heaters are of this style. More and more people are going to the tankless because they see a lot of the benefits of that, but they do come with a higher price tag, but it's worth it for a lot of people.
So you mentioned a power vent style water heater too. Is there a benefit from going from atmospheric to power vent?
The biggest benefit is basically this one will have a little better, or a power vent will have a little better recovery time, but the biggest difference is you can get rid of your chimney. That's when we see most people go to a power vent from an atmospheric.
It seems like it'd be a little bit more safe too.
Yes, you don't, it is definitely gonna be a little more safe. You don't have to worry about backdrafting coming into the basement and carbon monoxide, that sort of thing.
So you said this one's really intense. So I think I'm looking towards getting maybe a tankless water heater. I mean, what does an install look like? I mean, what am I looking at for time frame? I mean, can you guys get that in fairly quick? Is it a week-long project or?
All of them are fairly quick. So this one's gonna be about a 2-hour install. This one's gonna be about 2 to 4 hour install. And then this one is a 8-hour install. So this is a full day. All of them we can get done in one day. They're all, very doable projects. So